Hello everyone, welcome back to this Swayam course on Introduction to Farm Machinery and Implement. Today's lecture we will be discussing on farm mechanization and its status of India's mechanization. Uh, what is farm mechanization? So before moving to the today's topics or today's lecture, so let us recall about what we discussed in the previous lecture. In the previous lecture, we discussed about farm power, sources of farm power in India and their status. So sources of farm power are like human power, animal power, mechanical power, electrical power, and renewable energies, which are used in the field of crop productions in one or other way. On that basis only, today's topics will proceed. So farm mechanization, by definition, it is the applications of engineering and technology in agricultural operations to do a job in a very better way in order to improve the productivity. So that's what in general the farm mechanization is defined as. In other words, the mechanization is the applications of various types of machines and other agricultural implements during the productions, transportation, processing of agricultural produce. So in the sense, the mechanization, farm mechanization is nothing but involvement of more machines in order to reduce the human drudgery, lessen the human interference while performing the all agricultural operations. So this includes development, application and management of all mechanical aids which will be applied for field productions or field preparation, water control, uh, material handling, storage of agriculture produce and processing of those agriculture produce. In all these fields, these mechanical aids will be applied. So whenever we use these mechanical aids at large amount, then only we call it as the mechanization at higher levels. The mechanical aids includes hand tools, animal drawn implements, use of power tillers, tractors, oil engines, which refers to the stationary engines which we use to perform a work in a still condition, stationary conditions, use of energy or mechanical power for processing operations and for hauling equipments. These are all the basic sectors in the field of agriculture where we use a mechanical heads. So farm mechanization, it does not mean use of only the large big machines and tractors for farm work, but it includes a need based process where it provides a sufficient time gap for self adjustment of various input without causing a sudden impact of changes. The intensive agriculture is an example where the mechanized farming will take place. So here it requires applications of diverse machinery that saves the time, the labors in field operations. The main intentions of mechanization is to reduce the labor intensity as low as possible, perform the work as fast as possible by saving time, and make the work easy as possible. The mechanization gives higher cropping intensity, economical use of irrigation facilities, timely sowing and timely harvesting, and transportation of inputs in the field. Therefore, the optimized yield will be obtained. So here the cropping intensity, what do you mean by cropping intensity? The cropping intensity is nothing but having more crops per unit area. So it means taking more than one crops in the given land. So that is only possible if you have a high level of mechanization. So machines make the work easy, complete the task in lesser time with low labor intensive, and that's how it permit you to go for more than one crop taking in a year for a given land available. So there are different stages of agriculture developments and level of mechanizations. So what are all those different stages of agriculture development and the different levels of mechanization? Very first and primitive one is manual and using manual tools. So manual use of manual tools indicates improved and lower energy requirement and more efficient tools development, and making man while working make more comfortable, reducing tediousness, making his working posture better while using the manual tools. Using animals for implement and machines, so developing such a machines and implements with the help of them, by using animals as a source of power, we can operate them in the field to perform the agriculture operations. The other different stages of agriculture development and level of mechanizations are using animals and mechanical combined together power as a combined source. Sometimes we can use the machines effectively for agriculture operations, since there are some stages where the cropped land will not permit machines to pass through it. In such cases, we go with the manual tools to complete the certain task or animal operated implement. So whenever we use a combinations of animal power and mechanical power to perform a task in a crop production process, so that we called as a using animal and mechanical power combined together. That is one of the stages of agriculture development and improved level of mechanization. Using mechanical power alone, so there also you perform all the work with the help of machines with less human interference. And if you further work on automotive machines, autonomous vehicles, so there they completely autonomous, where human interference is not at all required. It can work by themselves with the commands given by the operator. So this is how the different stages of agriculture development can be categorized into various classes. So mechanization indicator. So wherever you go, any country's agricultural operations and agriculture mechanization. So in order to assess what level of mechanization there any country is having, you need to measure certain parameters. So there are three indicators which any one of them we can use for in order to indicate the level of mechanization. One among them is farm power per unit area. So farm power per unit area, ratio of mechanical power over the total farm power, and energy ratio. These are all the three indicators. Any one of these can be used for assessing the level of mechanization. The farm power unit area, as we already discussed in the previous lecture, where we talked about sources of farm power and status of farm power in Indian agriculture. So from the previous lecture, we could say easily that the availability of farm power in India is around 2.5 kilowatt per hectare, and we are aiming to achieve 4 kilowatt per hectare by 2020-30. And that's what the farm power, one of the indicator which tell us the mechanization level. So it means the more farm power available in any given land or in any given agriculture sector in any country, that level of that higher level of mechanization that country is having. So in India, mechanization is the one of the way of viewing mechanization is the availability of farm power per unit area. It is always measured in terms of kilowatt per hectare. Farm power available was 0.25 kilowatt per hectare during 1950-51, and it rose to 2.02 kilowatt per hectare in 2013 and 14, and it also increased to 2.5 kilowatt per hectare in 2018-19, and now we are aiming to achieve 4 kilowatt per hectare of farm power by the year 2020-30. So that's how the increase in farm power availability reflects the increased level of mechanization. That is the one of the indicator. The second indicator which help us to assess the level of mechanization is the ratio of mechanical power over total farm power being used in the agriculture production process. The mechanization indicator has been expressed as ratio of mechanical power over total power used in farm. It is as you can see in the screen is the ratio of MP by AP plus MP, where MP, the term MP indicates the mechanical power used on the farm in terms of kilowatt or in terms of HP, whereas AP indicates animate power. Animate in the sense human power as well as animal power, that combined together it will also be in terms of expressed in terms of kilowatt per HP, and this two ratio will be used to designate what level of mechanization any country's agriculture is having. So this ratio was 3.6% during 1950 and 51, and it rose to 80% in the year 1955 and 1996. So there is a drastic changes in the mechanization, as we see in Indian agriculture since 1950 and 1950-51 to 2000 or 2020, you can say. So another term or indicator is the energy ratio. It is also used as a mechanization indicator. So this is nothing but what is the infrastructure we are having, and out of which what amount of energy we are using. In many developed countries, there is a wide gap exists between created infrastructures and actual utilization of energy. Hence, the ratio of actual utilized mechanical energy and total energy, which includes human energy, animal energy, or power, or mechanical power or energy, is a indicator for mechanization. So it is expressed in terms of megajoule per hectare. So you can use it as a you can take this data in terms of megajoule per hectare as it is in this case, or you can take kilowatt per hectare as it was in the previous type of indicator. Okay. So the present farm mechanization thrust. So these are all some of the thrust area where the present mechanization is looking after and focusing on. The first thrust areas of mechanization is to increase the yield and cropping intensity. If you want to increase the yield, you need to perform all the activities on time. You need to optimize the inputs, and you need to have more cropping intensity. So more cropping intensity is nothing to do with the increased yield, but with the increased production. So increased yield is possible if you perform the work in time, like sowing in time, harvesting crop at this right time, thereafter threshing, and that leads to increased yield. And if you have a more mechanical power to perform agriculture operations, you may bring more areas for area under agriculture production, or you can have more crops per unit area in a year, and that's how you can increase the production. To increase the income of agriculture workers, if you increase the production, if you increase the you increase the productivity, that ultimately reflect in terms of increased income. That's how the farmers will earn more. To mechanize the farms of all categories, if there is more level of mechanization, if there is more farm power available, then you can bring all forms of land under mechanized agriculture. Like there are some hilly areas where that area will not permit machines to use because of that geographical area. You need to depends upon human manual tools and animal run implements, where that output productions is not optimized, work is not done within the stipulated time, and that's how the mechanization is required in all forms of categories. So another thrust area is to reduce the health hazard and increase the safety of operation in farm machinery. So here it is possible because, for example, if I take a threshing machine, so threshing machine and combine harvester, they perform all the threshing, collecting of seeds, cleaning them from foreign matters, putting them into a sacks or into the heap. So that all takes place automatically without human interference, and that's how that farmers or field workers will stay free from stay away from exposing into the dirty and dusty conditions, and that's how their health may be kept in good conditions, and they may be avoided from exposing into the hazardous environment around the operations, around the machines, or where this kind of operations are going on. To utilize properly the natural resources, of course, if there is high level of mechanization, we could achieve more precision. We can optimize the inputs. We will reduce the higher dose of inputs, and that's how we can minimize the losses of natural resources, particularly water is concerned. To utilize efficiently the input such as seeds, chemicals, and fertilizer with the help of machines, we sow the seeds at desired seed rate, at a required depth of sowing, and that's how the germinations will be optimized, and there will be a very less mortality of seedlings or the seeds which are in the stage of germination. So to reduce the cost of production, if machines are used, machines perform work with shorter duration, less time, and that's how the cost of productions will be lessened, because at the same time there will be increase in yield, and that's how it will optimize the cost of production. So we will also, it also helps to provide dignity of the farmers no need, for example, if I take puddling of land for preparation of seedbed for paddy sowing. So earlier, farmers used to do the puddling by themselves, by churning in the field, moving across the field, or by moving with the pair of animals and tools or animal drawn implement for churning the land, and that makes them poor kind of fellow to look like from the outside. So big introductions of rotavators and other mechanical puddlers made this fellow free from such operations, and now he could feel, and he feel the dignity. So there are some targets to achieve the above objects, such as increase in farm power input. Farm power input if increases to 4 kilowatt per hectare, we will be in further better position by reducing the dependency over animal power and human resources. So it will it to develop high capacity farm machines whose turnaround time loss is low. If you develop a big machines which can easily turn at the corners of the field, that we generally consider the turning time as a non-productive time. So it can be minimized, the productive time, non-productive times will be minimized, and that's how the machine's efficiency will be increased. To improve the management of farm machinery for better economy, to improve managing of farm machinery is very important task. It plays a vital role in reducing the operation cost of a machine, as well as reducing the non-productive expenditure. To mechanize hill agriculture in better way, hill agriculture requires a specialized machines, where that machines have some certain kind of provision to adjust themselves according to the elevations. So such kind of development of such machines is very much essential if you want to tackle the situations where hill agriculture is facing. To mechanize certain crops like sugarcane, cotton, and fruits and vegetables, where the level of mechanization is too low in these crops, particularly in sugarcane, we have some kind of high level of mechanization as far as its sowing is concerned, planting is concerned. But when it comes to the harvesting, we are not have reached up even the 50% of the level of mechanization. The same is, I mean, the thing is same for the cotton crop as well. So we have reached almost 60 to 70% of mechanization for as far as its planting of seeds are concerned, but harvesting still we depends upon manual picking of cotton balls out of the plant. Fruits and vegetables, for as far as sowing or planting is concerned, we have certain level of mechanization has been achieved so far, have been achieved, but harvesting no, hardly 3 to 4%, or in some crops, some crops of fruits and vegetable we have reached up to 10% of mechanization only. And therefore there is a more emphasis given to develop such a machines and implement and equipment which will improve more mechanization level for these kinds of crops. To improve the quality of farm machinery, so there is a need to develop a good quality of machine in terms of their durability, in terms of their work capacity and efficiency. So there is a need to strengthen research and development for better design of machines. So many state and central universities, ICAR research institutes are also working on developing need-based equipments and machines for agricultural operations. So they must be strengthened. Such kind of organizations must be strengthened by providing financial incentives to create a suitable linkage with the manufacturers in order to fabricate and commercialize the new technologies which the research organizers will develop, and that's how these are all the some of the target areas your country has to look after in order to increase a maximum level of farm mechanization. So there are some strategies for farm mechanization to increase level of mechanization to increase. The resource like land and water are very limited in nature. They are shrinking with the year uh, because of increased population as the population is increasing. So therefore, there is an almost care needs to be taken in order to boost the agricultural production by using the water very scarcely in limited with the limited water and land available. So the level of mechanization in the country as a whole is still at a very low level. There are reasons for that. The main reasons for the very low level of mechanizations include a small and scattered holding. So the land is not big. If land is not big, that machines will not perform well, because there is a non-productive land required for the machines. So in fragmented land, that's how they cannot work much. They cannot work efficiently, and there is a poor investing capacities by the farmers. The machines which are available in the market are not affordable to the individuals. And another main reason is that non-availability of good quality implements and machines. So here the good quality means, so those machines with more efficiency, whether they can perform with the 100% of their work capacity, 100% of their work efficiency. So such kind of expectation is there, and the commercially available machines are so far unable, very rarely meet 100% of their work capacity and work efficiency, and most oftenly they do not. So due to shortage of labor at peak time of sowing, harvesting, threshing, the farmers are more inclined towards use of agriculture machineries, and that is one of the driving force for higher level of mechanization. So this demands the good quality of machine and the better sales and service facilities that's often lacking in our country. So therefore, hence the farm machinery industry will have to modernize itself, their products, and also improve the comfortness, safety while it is used in the agriculture field. So it must provide safety for the operators. Those machines must keep the operators comfort while is driving or using those machines, and those machines or product must be energy efficient. Then only they will be accepted by the farming community. And if they're accepted, if those machines are accepted by the farming community, then only we could reach the higher level of farm mechanization. So new machines for horticultural crops, for plantation crops, and for agroforestries are badly needed, because these are all the sectors in agriculture production where the level of mechanization is too low. So efforts required to boost the farm mechanization. So India is a large country with wide agroecological diversity. So there are 15 agroecological zones in India, and each of zones require or demand a different kind of machines. So gross cropped irrigated agriculture is limited to 14% only. So that is also one of the limiting factors. So farm holdings are small due to high population density, and also land fragmentation will continue due to a loss of inheritance, that is an Hindu succession act. So here, because of if any family having two children, as they grow up, so the total land will be divided among them, and that's how with the generations as they grow, the land will keep shrinking to the individual. So that is one of the reason why we in our country having very fragmented land. So majority of farmers have limited money to invest in improved input. So that is again one of the limiting factors for lower mechanization because individuals have no paying capacity or affordability. The present trend in agriculture mechanization is for high capacity machines because completing the task in short period, so that he may have more time for planning to the next season, or he may get the crop in hand as soon as the crop is ready to harvest. If he get the crops early, he can take them into the market and he will fetch more money for that. The mechanization of rice, sugarcane, cotton, potato, horticultural crops are now emerging areas where that greater attention is being taken. And as far as rice and wheat is concerned, we have achieved more than 70% to 80% of mechanization, particularly when harvesting and threshing is concerned. So, because of mechanization, there are some economical advantages. If you want to realize those advantages, you have to take any example for it. So, if I take seed cum fertilizer drill as an example to realize the economical advantage because of mechanization. So, if you use the seed cum fertilizer drill, so you will save 20% of the seeds. So, you will save around 15 to 20% of fertilizers using seed cum fertilizer drill. The cropping intensity will increase by 5 to 22%, and ultimately that all leads to increased gross income by 30 to 50%, and that's how you can realize the economic advantage from the mechanization. So, seed cum fertilizer drill is just an example. Similarly, if you go with the combine harvester, there also you will realize many advantages, economical advantages particularly. So, these data which I am showing on the screen are drawn from the report of the subgroup on agricultural implement and machinery on 9th 5-year plan by the Government of India. So, if you talk about Northern Indian region, so Northern Indian region has some suitability for the mechanization over the southern part of India or northeastern part of India. So, what makes this northern region of India is more suitable for mechanization rather than southern part of India or northeastern part of India? The first one is the farm holding being a large. So, here the farm holding you will see a large farm holding, and that it is more suitable for mechanization to use bigger machines. So, there is a higher purchasing power of farmers as well. If you take Punjab, Haryana and part of UP, Uttar Pradesh as an example. So, here the farmers can easily buy them, or they can afford machines like combine harvester, laser leveler, such kind of machines individually the farmers can afford, and that's how it makes one of the advantages for achieving higher mechanization in these states. So, there is a shortage of labor during peak seasons of harvesting and sowing because of urbanization and migrations of rural people into the urban area. So, that makes the farmers face labor shortage, and that force them to use machines, and that's how the farm mechanization is achieved higher level in northern part of India than the southern and northeastern part. So, there is an increased cropping intensity also because of assured irrigation. There are many rivers, Ganga and all. So, throughout the year they get water irrigation facility, that also make them go for more than one crop in a year, and that is possible if machines are there to perform all the work in time. As the one crop is ready for harvesting, they harvest it, and within a short period of time they prepare the land and they sow the next crop for the next season, and that's how if machine is there or mechanization, high level of mechanization is achieved, this all kind of tasks can be done. So, that makes the northern regions of India more suitable for farm mechanization than the southern part of India and other part of India. Mechanization is necessary to enhance productivity and conservations of energy required for various operations involved in crop productions, crop threshing and harvesting, processing after the crop is harvested and threshed, and transportation and storage, etc. So there are several stages at which the crop production and post harvest operation takes place. In all these stages, the mechanization is necessary in order to increase the productivity and also to conserve the energy resources. There are several measures which have been taken by the government of India at the state and central level in order to promote mechanization, to increase its level higher and make farming operations better and ease. So one among such measures is identifications of prototype which have been developed under ICAR scheme by the ICAR institutes, state and central agriculture universities and other governments, state governments. So there are various schemes that ICAR funds. Under these schemes, many state agriculture universities, central agriculture universities and even Indian Council Agriculture Research Institutes will work on developing the machines according to the need for their locality where those institutes, universities, organizations are located. So any such efficient prototypes which have been developed and tested will be recognized, identified by the ICAR or Government of India, and they will be taken into consideration and commercialization. So demonstrations of newly developed equipment is another measures taken by the Government of India. Those prototype which seems to be promising techniques or technology, they may solve issues related to current agriculture in any sector, in any stages of crop production. They may be demonstrated among the farming community for its wide publicity, and there is a provision of facility for repair and maintenance of farm machinery at appropriate level. So far there is a lacuna of this facility in India. We have a very less level of service facilities as per as repair and maintenance is concerned. So government is also working on this to take measures regarding providing sufficient facilities for repair and maintenance, and it is also providing financial assistance in the form of subsidies to purchase a farm equipment by the farmers. Whenever the farmer want to purchase a farm equipment, the government will provide him a subsidy. At subsidized rate, he or she can buy the equipment and he may use it for crop production process. So there are provisions where the credit facilities are also made available to the farmers by various banking sectors and NABARD, rural public banks and other financing organizations, where they provide conceded interest rate or lower rate, provide loans at lower interest rate for machineries. So there is exemptions of excess duty on agricultural implements. So those implements are machines, equipment which are being imported from outside the country. Over them, that excise duties are removed or reduced in order to make them affordable by the farmers. And these are all some of the initiatives or measures the government have been taken in order to promote agriculture activities to increase the level of mechanization. So one of the another initiative or the measures the government has taken is there are farm machinery training and testing institutes which are established by the Government of India. So they play a vital role in conducting tests for performance evaluations of the machines, agricultural equipment which are developed by the machinery manufacturer or research organizations in order to assess their functional soundness and their suitability. So those machines which have been tested in farm machinery training and testing institutes, so they may be eligible for comes under subsidized rate to be sold into to be sold for the farmers. So such farm machinery training and testing institutes, there are 4 such training institutes are there. All 4 are located at prime locations across the country. One is at at the Budini MP for northern part of India. Another one is, sorry, central part of India. Budini is located at MP, Madhya Pradesh, and it will look after testing and training, testing of agriculture machines and training of farmers for the in the regions of central part of India, whereas the Farm Machinery Training and Testing Institute located at Hisar, Haryana, that institute look after testing of machines, newly developed machines, equipments in northern part of India, along with providing training to the farming communities and professionals working in the field of agriculture engineering and farm machineries and power engineering as discipline, and also to training to the students of agriculture and allied subjects. So all these four institutes will provide training for students as well. So the Garaldinne, the another institute is at Garaldinne, Andhra Pradesh. So it will look after all the testing and training activities related to farm machinery and professionals and students related to agriculture and allied sector of southern part of India, whereas the Bishwanath Cheriali is the another testing institute. It is located in Assam, and it will take care about all this training and testing of farm machinery in northeastern region. So only those machines, equipment which have tested and evaluated and their test report is accepted will get an eligibility to come under subsidiary category, where those equipment will be sold to the farmers at a subsidized rate. So there are some constraints in mechanization. The constraints for the mechanizations are like, so different type of equipments are required for each agroclimatic zone. As I already told you in one of previous slide, that there are 15 agroclimatic zones are there in India. So each agroclimatic zones have their own requirement, and the cropping system, cropping pattern, environmental environmental aspect, everything is different from one zone to other. In addition to the type of land, soil condition and all, and therefore, so the same kind of equipment which we designed, same kind of machine which we designed for Varanasi, Uttar Pradesh, for example, is not suitable for one which we use in the Jammu and Kashmir or Himachal Pradesh, northeastern part of the country. So that's how it needs to be modified, customized according to the local conditions and local requirement, and that makes the demanding variety of equipments needs to be made available. And another constraint is that small and fragmented land holding. As we all aware, the land is keep fragmenting generation to generation, and that makes the non suitable for mechanized agriculture, because mechanized agriculture uses machines. So machines in order to move over the field, it requires some non-productive land while it utilizes while working in the field. So such fragmented land unable to provide such a non-productive lands, we call them as a headland and all in the agriculture operations. So low investment capacity of the farmers are unable to buy machines alone. They individually they cannot afford. There is inadequate irrigation facilities. Another constraint is irrigation facilities. Hardly 30 to 40% of agricultural area comes under irrigation, and rest is dryland agriculture or rain-fed agriculture. The agriculture is completely depends upon rain or precipitation. So that's where machineries if you buy will stay idle as the next monsoon to come, and that's how sometime farmers investing use on that and keeping them using only for one season in a year will not make economical. So there is another constraint of for the lower level of mechanization. Farmers are unaware about different types of machines available in the market for agriculture activities, and unaware of available machines make them force them to use those which those equipment only which they have around them or with them. So there is a poor facilities for repair and maintenance of machineries. So anything goes wrong, if technicians are not available near around the farmer's vicinity, then that machine that the machine which gone wrong will stay still until the technician comes and rectify the issues and all. So that's how, because of poor repair and maintenance facilities, also the mechanization is not at reached the level which the India is imagining. And at the last, inadequate irrigation facilities, that I think we already covered in the point number 4. So these are all the various constraints which hindering the mechanization level to reach high in Indian scenario. These are all the some readings for further deep understanding regarding what we discussed so far. One can refer. Thank you all.